Okay, lesson 7 discusses input from the keyboard. Being able to collect input from the user makes programs more interesting. And we're going to see that as we work through some of these assignments. Now, the Java API provides something called a scanner class for us to use in order to collect input from the user. But in order to do this, we have to include 2 import statements at the very top of our programs. Those import statements are import java.io.star, semicolon, and import java.util.star, semicolon. So import means to bring in. So we are trying to bring in new features of our program. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So and this is all going to be put in before we say public class lesson 7. So we're going to say import java.io star or asterisk semicolon. I call an asterisk a star. And java.util star semicolon. So those things go at the very, very top. So I'm going to go ahead and hit compile. And, oh, I forgot to say import. See, those are the same kind of mistakes you're going to make. So it's okay if I make them too. All right. You'll also notice that import is a reserved word. So it's a special word with special meaning. All right. So continuing on, in order to be able to use the methods where we read data from the keyboard, the first thing we have to do in our code is create something called a scanner object. So like we do with string, like strings are objects, we have to say string first. So we have to say scanner first, then we give it a name. And I'm just going to use the name that we use in our note packet, KB Reader, but this can be any variable name that you choose. And then we say equals a new scanner, and then inside of parentheses, we have to say system.in, and S has to be capitalized. So I'm going to go to my code, and I'm going to do that. So let's go ahead. Scanner KB Reader equals a new scanner. And then we're going to say system with a capital S in semicolon. So all that does is create the scanner object. Now, once we create the scanner object, then we can start calling some of these methods that we learned about in the notes. So back to our notes. Essentially, what we're going to be able to do here is, let's see if I can find that. There we go. So with this scanner, we can basically use it to import or bring in 3 different types of information. We can use it to bring in an integer by using the next int method. We can bring in a double by using a next double, and then we can bring in a string by saying next. But I did forget the parentheses here, so please add parentheses. So let's go ahead and do the first one. So let's say int, and let's say month equals. We're going to say kbreader.next int. Okay, so I want to do this on purpose the wrong way. So all this is going to do, let's see what this does. Now we're going to run. Now, our computer's just sitting here and it doesn't look like anything happened. But there's really more going on here. First of all, the user is just looking at this blinking cursor, not knowing really what's happening. So in order for us to always make sure the user knows what to do, we should put an SOP in there. So we're going to say system out print ln, and we're going to say, please enter the month you were born. Okay, and then after, it's going to be expecting you to enter something. So here we got our statement, please enter the month you were born, and see the cursor is blinking. So it's sitting there and it's waiting for you to enter something. And the program won't continue on until you do so. So I'm going to hit 7, and still the cursor's blinking. This input will not be recorded until I hit the return key. And that's the end of our program. So it took the 7 and it stored it in month. Now, we didn't have our program do anything else, so we don't really know that that worked, but we do know that the program ended, because once we read the integer, nothing else was supposed to happen. So let's remedy that, and let's say system out, print line, and just put in a string, month equals, and then concatenate it with an answer. And then this should convince us that it actually stored that 7 into the month variable. So let's go through this again. So it asks me the question, please enter the month you were born, 7. It's sitting here waiting. I hit enter. And then once I hit enter, the program continued on and printed month equals month. So that worked out very nicely. Now, there were 2 other things we said we could do. We could enter a double and enter a single word as a string. So now we're going to do a little copying and pasting. So I'm going to copy this, what we just did for it, and paste. So I'm going to say for the next one, please enter your hourly pay. And we're going to say double instead of int. And let's call this rate, R-A-T-E. And then instead of KB reader next int, we're going to say KB reader next double. And then we're going to print rate equals, and we'll concatenate that with rate. So let's go ahead and compile, and we'll run. Please enter the month you were born, 7. I hit return. It prints the month equals 7. And now we're going to go to this line. Please enter your hourly pay. And again, it's sitting here waiting for me to enter something. So let's enter 12.75. And again, it's waiting for me to hit enter. And then we know it worked because it printed that rate equals 12.75. Let me show you what happens if you enter the wrong type of data. Like, for example, please enter the month you were born. If we entered a decimal here, like 0.123, our program crashes. You get an exception. So we don't want to see things like that. Okay, so the last one I'm going to do in this video before I start another video is we're going to now ask for you to enter a string. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to copy and paste. This time we're going to say, please enter your name. Instead of a double, this is a string because it's a string of characters. We'll say name. And then KB reader is not next double, it's just next. So next allows you to just enter a single word and everything before a space. So we're going to go ahead and enter name equals and concatenate with name. Oops. Let's try that again. I'm going to go ahead and compile and run. Please enter the month. I'm going to enter 7. Enter. Please enter your hourly pay, 12.99 this time. Hit enter. Please enter your name, Kim. And it prints Kim. I'm going to run it one more time. Please enter the month you were born, 7. Enter. Please enter your hourly pay. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I want to show you what happens if I enter Kim space Shaver. It only prints Kim because the next command is only going to record everything you type up to the first space right there. I'm going to stop this video and we are going to start another video for the rest of the notes.